Alright, so the second time I'm trying to record this, third time, whatever. We're going to make a piano, so let's start. S, Shift Y, get all the way down there, then S, Z, and we'll go into edit mode there. Move that guy up just a hair. Pianos have this little ledge on them. That's all I'm saying. Damn it. Sorry if I'm real short because I'm kind of tired of doing this because my computer blows. So let's do the same thing with that. Down there. Go down there. Make this a little more square than the other one. 5. Like that. Get that on top of there. Scale that down a little bit more. The x-axis there. Alright. Get that sort of in there. Good enough. So that's what it kind of looks like. We'll scale that down on the y-axis, x-axis a little bit. Scale it down on the y-axis just a little bit. And that will be the first one. Again, as I mentioned, we're making a piano, so if you're unfamiliar with Blender and all that stuff, I'm very, very sorry. I'll cover some videos on how to exactly do more of this stuff probably a little bit later, but for right now, just figured I'd give you a good result with what we're working with here. Alright, so it's our half-step key, and this is our main key, and then we want to Control 2 and Control 2 to make these on here. We also want to put them together, so that's Control J. And then I will keep adding pieces to this so it looks a little bit cleaner, so that we get the good-looking keys that we want to get. The best way to go about, I think, doing subdivision surface modeling is not shade it smooth, so you get a good idea of what your topology is actually doing whenever you smooth it out. S, Z along the axis, tighten that up, and then we want to add some loops down here to tighten that. I see there's something else there, so I'll just add another one to tighten that up as well. And we should be okay with that so far. We want to sort of, I think I want to get rid of these edge loops if I can. Dissolve edge loop, and yeah, okay. It's a little bit goofy, but that's alright. Again, we're not going for perfect, we're going for good enough. That's kind of my style. You could call it lazy, but I just call it good enough. I mean, we're going for a overall feel for this thing, not so much a photorealistic render. So whenever we get to this part, we're going to use an array modifier to do the rest of this stuff. So we want to sort of plan on doing it that way. So we want to duplicate these a couple of times. No, we don't. The reason why we don't is because we still have a little bit of non-tightness on there, so that should clean that up a little bit more. Alright, so Control L to select those. Maybe. There we go. For some reason that wasn't working. So Control D to duplicate, and then move that over a couple times. 1, 2. I think we need 5 or so of them. That's what I'm going to go with. We might need one more, I'm not sure. We'll sort of see what it looks like. Alright, so whenever you have a piano, you have one, we're going to have 2 ends and then 3 in the middle. So 1 and 2 and 3. Whenever you see a piano, there's not a one-to-one relationship on the minor keys, or however you want to look at those, so just be aware of that, that's all. Alright, so we do want one more of these things. Undo that. One more of these, so we have our overlapping one, which will make sense in just a sec once we get that up, but we want to put that pretty much as close to that as we can. So we'll move that one over, just a skosh, as Timmy from Rules of Engagement would say, and we also probably want to move that over just a little bit too to put those two together. Again, think about it in sort of an array modifier way. And if you aren't really sure how to think about that in an array modifier way, first thing we're going to do is save it as the piano blend, piano toot. Again, like I said, I tried saving this a couple times, or trying to do this a couple times. I think I finally figured it out. Awesome. But whenever you do a modifier, you want to just add a array modifier, or an array modifier, since it starts with an A, all you grammar Nazis. So we'll go down to 0.098, and that's not close enough. 0.975. Yeah, that's tight. And we all know men like it tight. And if you haven't figured out I'm a dude by now, I'm very disappointed, but whatever. Okay, so we move that down, and we want to position our beautiful camera, Control-Shift-0, onto this thing. And we will rotate it. Double tap R. Do a barrel roll, except not in Blender, which that's okay. I mean, I can't really be hating on it. So we want to sort of angle that down a little bit, angle that down a little bit more. Just kind of. I'm looking off in this distance over here to make sure that it doesn't do anything too stupid. But yeah, so I think we're good there. Let's shade this thing smooth so we can really see what it looks like. That's pretty good. I really don't like how tight that is. Whoa, we are lagging out. There we go. Thanks. All right, so I want to go in here and there we go. That's what's causing the problem. Hit the numpad 0 to get there. And then we want to sort of get rid of this edge loop. That should break that up a lot more. And I also think we want to, I don't think we can get rid of that edge loop. But we can slide that up a little bit, I think. I'll see if we can do that with the edge slide tool. Edge slide, there we go, 1, 2, 3, 3. I'm not sure if this will work or not. If not, we'll just manually move it because it's not a big deal. Edge slide, so we can sort of do that. I'm not really sure what it's doing at this point. Alright, so we'll get rid of that as my computer overheats and tries to explode. But we'll just sort of move that back and move that up. Alright, that's significantly better, I think. Right. Okay, so we will replace the rest of these with that new one. Since we're lagging out real bad, I'm going to sort of make this as fast as possible. I'm going to delete the vertices, and then Control L, and duplicate those back where we saw them. Whoa, that's awesome. Control Z our way back to that, whatever the hell that thing did. Control L. And next, delete vertices. Much better. Alright, so take that again. And then, yes. Alright, so then we'll go to the top view. And then, again, we need space for that one. And then we need these to be grouped together. So, Control D, Shift D, duplicates if you're unaware and you didn't read the keys that are hanging out down here. Totally cool. Don't worry about it. But that's what we're looking for there. And then we need just one more hanging out closer to this guy. Alright, and we'll get some better awesome. Get some better separation on the one we just added. Alright, cool. And we'll get that one and move it back just a little bit too. So it doesn't look 100%. There we go. Okay, so kind of fix those up. Probably should have done a better job on that, but at the very least, we're sort of good there. Another thing I want to add, just sort of a random note here. All these are sort of raised up, so we can do that pretty easily just by hitting Control R and add another edge loop in there. Won't really do anything, but come on. At least to the topology of it, but it will make it so that we can raise up our tops here, which will help. There we go. Okay. What the? See, that's what happens when you work on a laptop. That is a huge sack of awesome. Is what I'm going with there. This thing is overheating like crazy right now. I don't even know how the recording's going, but I'm sure it's not very good. But that's alright. That's alright. We'll figure it out later. Like I said, it's the first one. It's the first of many. Alright, so we raised that up. That's looking not a whole lot different, but that's fine. Alright, so we sort of modeled our piano. Now we want to add the back to it. So Shift-C to recenter everything, since we sort of click like crazy in this piece of software. So I just rotate on the x-axis 90 degrees and sort of scale it on the x-axis. So it sort of makes sense. This x, a couple more. There we go. Put that against it, just in a little bit, and then pop it up. Alright, so there's our piano thing. We want to add some extra loops in there. Just sort of give it a little more detail to it, you know, and then just hit Control 2 again to get you the subdivision surface, because we want to, again, not make sure everything's nice and smooth, since it is wood, but it also does other things. So we'll smooth that out, and I think we'll tighten that up a little bit too. Not too much though. All right, so that's okay, I think. All right, and now we want to add a light, the light at the end of the tunnel, as it were, because this piece of artwork of the inspiring culprit, I guess, I saw from this Hobby Lobby. Switched to the Cyclist Render Engine, and it was just sort of this piano that had a Z index on it, and that was pretty much all it was, and I thought it looked really cool, and it would be super easy to do for a first tutorial, because I have no idea how the workflow for creating a tutorial would go. So that's sort of what the idea was behind that. Alright, so that's our light at the end of the tunnel. Awesome, and then we want to add some more lights in here for just sort of stage lights, since I'm assuming that a piano would be on a stage, because I don't have one in my house, but if I did, I would totally own a stage too. So yeah, I used to play the piano. I think every little kid kind of did at some point, but I made my instructor's life hell enough that my mom let me quit. Yeah, so that kind of worked out pretty well. I'm going to set that to 8, and obviously not everything's ever white, so I'm going to do the classic blue teal color, and then a nice warm orangey yellow. I don't want to make it too orange, because the other side, this light here, that's orange, so we'll want to line those up a little bit better. We'll put that right over it, and that should be okay with that, and then I'll move this down kind of in a little bit more. Okay, so that's sort of our lighting situation. Another thing about lighting, because there's a background in there, even though I haven't put one in there, I just got to remove it. All right, and Control W to save. In Mac, at least on my Mac, that totally kills Blender every single time, which is pretty hilarious, but it's a really old Mac, so that's all right. The other thing, the other thing we'll need to do is we will need to set our key colors. So again, using the materials, we want to set a mix, because we want a glossy, but we also want a dark color. So the way we go about doing that is having a mix shader. We change the factor to 0.9 because we want to use the diffuse. So the glossy's on top with a roughness of 0.08, and then the shader on the bottom will be a diffuse shader, and that will be normal. So actually, that's all we need to do with that. We just need to, since we're using our color keys or whatever, our black keys as it were, not the band, but just the color, and then we can set our settings down here. We can copy that color and then paste it right down in there, and it'll change all these colors to that. But in our case, we want to assign that, we'll call it black, just so, I mean, there's only 2 colors in here, but best practices, right? Name your shit. So then we'll just switch that, and then tab out, add a new one, have it be black, but don't worry, hit this 2, let's expand this out, that 2, not the F, the 2, hit that 2, and it'll make black 001. We can rename it white, the way that, you know, what I am, and then change it to be white, but again, it's ivory, so we want to make it a little bit of off-white there, which again, kind of like I am. All right, so then we can hit the apply button, wherever the hell that went. That's not what we want. That's not what we want. Right, the assign button right there. Okay, so we have our black keys and we have our white keys. Perfect. It's wonderful. All right, so then we can go out here, and then we want to select, since this is part of the piano, it's going to be black. And cool. All right, so the other thing that we need to do is we need to add the end piece of the piano. This can kind of be whatever you want it to be. I'm just going to make it kind of random and wood looking. I guess that would be the way. I mean, that doesn't really make any sense, but that's what I'm going to make it. So that's the, I know that's super hard to see, so just kind of deal with it. Sorry. Should have made this like, you know, one of the first things, or at least before the lighting, but I'm not too worried about it. You shouldn't be either. It's Bob Ross style. Just kind of make it your own. Really make it your own. Anything that you make is going to be beautiful. So just go with that. All right, we got some funky topology going on in there. We'll get rid of those faces, and we'll have to bridge that too. I don't know what kind of fat finger action I had going on there, but so just hit E and bridge to edge loops. There it is. Perfect. All right, so let's move that guy out, and kind of looks like a stapler. I'm really liking that. Control 2, and then Control R your way to victory. Let's see if we can fix that using a very simple method of W and remove devils. No. All right, so this is going to get a little messed up, but it's okay. See if we can sort of just fake it again, because this isn't too important to actually have correct, because most of it is going to be out of focus anyway. So just be aware of that. We just kind of need to get the shape down, and then hopefully smoothing it doesn't turn out too bad, and it does. It's cancer. It's lupus. It's the worst. This is. I don't know if I can save this thing. Let's see if we can. What happened here? So that's a triangle. So that's just terrible. Let's see if we can get that face. Let's see if we can get these faces and get rid of those, and then we'll get rid of these faces here. No, these faces. Yeah, that whole shebang is just William Hung bad. So there we go. We kind of got that, and then what we'll do is we will cut this in half, and then get some vertex action, and then get rid of it. Get rid of these vertices, and then we will fix it. So we'll take this guy, and hopefully we'll get rid of that vertex. Dissolve that. We'll take these, and I'll 1, 2, 3. Get the last one. Perfect. And we'll do this and that. We'll merge the last one, and then we'll take that. There we go. At last, we're going to fix this thing. I have no idea how that happened, but that was some interesting topology there. Like I said, learned Blender over a year, so I don't know really what the hell I'm doing, but figure I can at least teach some people something, right? But yeah, so we are almost there. We got to fix this last one. If you were fortunate enough and you were following along and you didn't fat finger yourself like I did, and to the ladies, that one was for you. But if you didn't do that and you're just watching me actually just fix my mess up, congratulations. You're, I guess, better at this than I am. But we'll do that. And we'll do it first. Alright, so let's get rid of this guy. We can do edge loop. Good, good. Much cleaner, I think. So then, no, we only did half of that because we know about modifiers, so we can just do a mirror modifier and apply it. Alright, so that's much better now, and now we can, of course, you're killing me here. Also, Control Z within the modifier will undo your modifier, which is kind of cool. But yeah, so then we'll do clipping. There, yes. Alright, so then we can apply that, and then doubles. Alright, so let's see if we can have some edge loops now. We do not. This is just It's just all fail all around. Why don't you want to make edge loops for me? Control E, make bridge 2 edge loops. Hey, alright, at least that's a little bit better. Okay, so we're not going to really worry. Oh my god, that's horrible. Alright, stapler thing, you're gone. Let's make a plane. This is entirely too impossible to do. Rotate on the y-axis 90 degrees, add a whole bunch of cuts in it, and then randomly move them up and down. This would probably be a better way to do it. Just saying. Alright, so we'll do that, we'll put that one down. Alright, and then we will do that, and we'll extrude that there, and we'll hit 2, and we will then scale it on the y-axis to make Control L, scale on the y-axis. Make it a little bit longer. I think we're going to rotate it 180 degrees on the z-axis, and then scale it z. Alright, add 2 edge loops in there. Now we just want the 1. SZ0, and then we want another one, SZ0. And we want to take this piece inside, extrude it in and down. Alright, we'll go down, and we'll take that, do that. Okay, and we'll take that, move that up a little bit, and move that down. We want this thing, I don't want that. Come on. That looks, we're just going to leave it like that, whatever. We've been dicking around with this thing too long anyway. Alright, so move that over there. 3, 0. Let's move that down so it actually sort of looks like it's part of the piano. We'll move our thing up a little bit so we can actually see it. And then we want to add another box in there for our, because they're not just floating in the air, obviously they are awesome and piano keys, so scale it on the x-axis a few times. Z to actually see it good enough, and then what we will do is we will extrude down. We will move it down, and okay, and we will take the hit I and inset that, put it into the keys a little bit, and then do nothing with that, then extrude that down, so we have our little guy there, but that's a little bit messed up because that decided to move, so we'll kick that guy back out there. Again, not too big of a deal at this point, but just make sure we're all clean and kosher on that. Alright, so that's a little bit better. That'll be nice, smooth, and then add the black to it. Black and no whale black. Okay, and I think we're pretty close to it. Let's add a ground plane, because everyone needs a little ground plane every once in a while. It doesn't really matter how big it is, because we don't care. But we'll make it a diffuse, and we'll make it a brown poopy color. Poopy, poopy, poop, poopy, poopy. Okay, and I think we might be good for a test run. Now, I will say that normally when people are test rendering, they're like, hey, let's do this. And I don't think so, because I think I have the memory of a goldfish, or at least artistically I do. So I actually render this thing out, but before I do that, holy crap, we don't need it that big. I will make it that big, and I will make it this like that. I'll make this like that. Alright, other things we need to do is we need to set up the camera so that we are, holy crap, camera. Yes, I'm not there yet. Oh, this is depressing. Wonder how long I can do this before people just stop watching. I'm about ready. Oh, thank God. Okay, you want to turn on limits and put the distance, no. Manually set the distance to touch something. The first thing it finds to touch. It's kind of like a, you know, the party van kind of thing. Just find the first thing it'll touch, and then set the f-stop down some low number. I think 0.8 should work okay. Doesn't really matter. Well, it does matter. It's got to be a low number. So if you want to do 0.6 or 0.5 or 0, don't do 0 because it'll never render. But let's hit F12. We'll see what it looks like. Holy Lord, that is really bright. So we'll want to clean that up a little bit, I think. It looks like it's coming from the like this side. little bit. So we will fix that up. We also, I mean, that's super boring looking right there. I mean, that's a lot of that stuff. So we want to not make it that wide either. So we'll make it a little bit. We got to change it. We got to just rotate the camera. Rotate on the z-axis away from that. So it's a little more interesting looking. Okay, we want to put it like that too because we don't want. Okay, that's a little bit. That should be a little bit better. We want to fix our limit again there. That's not too bad, but all right. So we got that. I think it turned off the world, so that's good. But this is too bright. So make that 5 and make this show up a little bit. Make that show up a little bit better, and also make this not friggin' yellow because we have yellow all over this scene. So we obviously don't want to do that. So we got a blue, we got a yellow, and we got a darker yellow. So I'm going to turn this. I'm going to do a red. Save again. And so we cleaned up the yellow, cleaned up that. Yeah, we'll see what that looks like. I also want to move this guy off into the distance a little bit more, just so he's not as in your face. In your face. The base is in your face. Holy butt, that's even worse. Oh, that is painful. Again, it's a lot of trial and error with my lighting because I have no idea really what I'm doing. But I just figure out the channel. Again, it's just sort of what looks good. In terms of the scene there. Alright, so that's way better, I think. Way better, because we have the yellow going down there. We got to fix that. That is just all bad there. But at least the blue gives you a nice little gradient thing going on there. So let's check out the camera. We want to move that guy over, but we really want to move this camera up and then down. Yes. Don't want to get that in there. Don't want to get that in there. Can we move in a little bit? Alright, we're really going for like the macro shot here, as opposed to the other kind of M shot. You know what I'm talking about. And so we're gonna again point that right at that little crevice. Save again. See what it looks like, and we might be good with this. All right, that's looking pretty pro. Pretty pro. I still really think that looks like feces. Like that is insultingly bad. The way we're going to go about fixing that is, I don't know, because that's just kind of floating out there. That's just, I guess we can add a stick to it. Let's add a stick. And we're going way off beyond anything that I ever did. So, congratulations on being able to not model anything. Wow. Alright, there we go. So then let's move that, and let's do that. And then we'll make this a little more bulbous. That's right. How often do you get to use that word? Tell you what, that's the first time today. And then, so 1, good, 3, sort of okay. Control 2, zip that up there, and then sort of make it a little bit tighter, a little bit squarer. Again, it's wood, so wood's not 100% on the rigid side, but we still want it looking pretty decent. So tighten that up, tighten that down. Yeah, that's better. Alright, so how's that look? At least that's a little bit more interesting. I don't know if we're going to be able to see that or not, but we should be okay. I think I also want to move this back a little bit. I think that will also help. Alright, so we'll put that in there. Again, make that black because we don't really need to worry about it. And let's see what that looks like. Like I said, working on a laptop, so it's overheating and it's pretty damn terrible. But all right, so that is a little bit more interesting looking. I would probably put a bench there or something like that, but I'm not really going to worry about that right now. I think what I will just do is aim the camera, because when all else fails, fix the camera. Alright, that should be better. Okay, make sure our distance is good. We're really close up now, so we're really going to make that really tiny. Probably 2, nope, 3, 2.8. Okay, we're going to make it that, and we're going to probably do our final render, and then all you got to do is jack up the samples and be done with it. So I usually do like 500. Usually is pretty good. And then the light pass we don't care about because we're not doing anything crazy with the lighting or anything like that. But yeah, okay, so that's looking pretty solid. Not too bad for a first time render. Alright, well, I hope this worked. We'll see it on YouTube, I guess.